Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Vera. I am a St. Louis based hairstylist and content creator. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I feel like can apply to anyone. It doesn't matter if you own a salon business, if you're in the beauty industry at all. This applies to anyone that just wants to help improve themselves. We are talking about how comparison is the thief of all joy, why people tend to compare themselves to others, and tips that I use to help not compare myself to people. Comparison is something that I have dealt with for a long time. I kind of go through ups and downs where it's like, I'm not comparing myself to people. I'm in my own lane. I'm worrying about myself. But in the day and age that we are in now with social media and with seeing what everyone else is doing, I would be lying to you if I told you that I don't compare myself sometimes. So I want to share some tips with you guys on what I do to not compare myself to others. And also, if we have time in this video, I want to share some tips on what I do to help with my self-confidence. I do think these things are very important for beauty influencers and also for people in the beauty business, because if you are not right within, your business is eventually going to fail or you're not going to grow to your potential. So let's just jump right on in on this hefty topic of comparison. I want you guys to tell me in the comments, what reasons do you find yourself comparing yourself to other people? Why do you think people compare themselves to other people and stuff like that? I really want to get some conversation starters going in the comments so we can have a real productive talk about these things. One reason why people tend to find themselves comparing themselves to others is because they want to fit in. This may be geared more towards younger people or specific crowds, but you don't want to be the oddball out. You don't want to be the one that's doing all these things that people might talk about you for, or it's not trending or something like that. A lot of times people don't want to go against the grain. Another reason why people may tend to compare themselves to others is because they may be in competition. Some people are more competitive than others. It could be a friendly competition, or it could be something that's not so friendly. Maybe it's a little toxic. Maybe it's just not, it's bad, like envious to a sense. And that's not good either. I can't say that I'm not really a competitive person. I would be lying if I said that, I didn't get on Instagram and I was, scrolling all through my feed and I see people going on these lavish trips. I see people with their nice luxury things or their big, beautiful house. Sometimes I do get a little bit jealous. I want those things as well. And I think that sometimes you compare yourselves and you compare what you do or don't have to what other people do or don't have, and that is what causes problems, and that is what can stunt your growth. Whether you find that you're comparing yourself to someone else for a good reason or a bad reason, I personally just think comparison is not good. It doesn't do anything for you, and it's not beneficial at all. I personally find that it's bad to compare yourself to someone else because you both are on different journeys. You're trying to compare their chapter 32 to your chapter 2. And you can sometimes feel like you're further behind, you're not doing the right things. I feel like it does affect your confidence when you think that you're supposed to be where this person is just because that's where they are. And I have been guilty of that as a stylist, as a mom, as a salon owner. I can tell you personally that a lot of you guys know that I started making my own hair products a very long time ago. I started making wigs and selling hair a very long time ago, but I never advertised, I never posted. I struggled and held myself back so much because I was seeing what other stylists or product developers or wig makers were doing and how far they were. And because I wasn't there yet, I felt like I wasn't good enough. Comparison is literally the thief of joy. It robs you of your joy. It's literally killing your dreams. And that's one of the reasons why I think that you should stop. And like I said, it has affected me and it has held me back so much. And I'm really glad, especially in the beauty space, that there are a lot of stylists and salon and business owners out there that are starting to share a little bit more of their struggle and the things that they have gone through and how long it took them to get to where they need to be, especially coming from someone, or watching as someone that hasn't been in the industry as long as they have. And I think that you have to just remember that you're on your own journey and they're on their own journey, and it's literally like comparing apples to oranges. It's just, it can't be done. Like, you can't compare your journey to their journey. And this kind of goes into the second reason why I feel like comparison is not good for you, and it's a big one to me. I feel like, okay, so if you know me, I am always quoting things. I always have some sort of quote or scripture or a line from a book. So the saying, you will continue to go through the same situations in life until you learn the lesson. I feel like when you are comparing your life, yourself, and your situation to other people's lives, selves, and situations, you tend to miss the lessons that you're supposed to learn in your journey. We are all here having our own human experience, and we are supposed to learn certain things that other people might not need to learn, or it's just not their season to learn that. And when you miss what's going on in your life and you miss those lessons that you're supposed to learn, it really stunts your growth. You're literally robbed of the messages that you're supposed to receive to help build your character and the traits that you need to move on to the next level in your life, because you're so stuck on worrying about what the next person is doing and worrying about what they're going through. I personally believe that when you focus and fixate on other people's lives and where they are versus where you are, you don't look within and think about your life, your past, where you are now, and that self-reflecting that you need in order to grow. But you're also you tend to get fixated on what they have, and then all you can see is what you lack. Which leads to my next reason why I think comparison is bad, which is having the grass is greener effect. You're so worried about how green someone else's grass is that you can't appreciate your grass for where it's at, and you can't evaluate what areas of your lawn that you need to water. Having a grass is greener mindset, it's like almost like having a what is a scarcity mindset. It's you lack that abundance mindset. You lack being grateful for what you have. And for people who believe in the law of attraction, if you believe in the universe, even if you believe in God, you know that you're not going to be blessed with more until you're grateful for what you have. It is okay to appreciate what other people have and clap for them, but you still have to clap for yourself. Like, sis down the street may have a big mansion on a cul-de-sac, but I'm grateful for my apartment. I'm grateful that I simply have a roof over my head, because there are people out there that are homeless. And this also reminds me of a time when I was at church, and this happened years ago, and it's crazy to me that it still sticks with me in my head. So the pastor was basically saying that God's not going to bless you with more until you can manage what you have now. And that's something that I try to teach my kids as well. Like, you as a parent, you wouldn't buy a car for a baby, because the baby still has to learn how to crawl, how to walk, and how to run, how to ride a bike. A baby has to learn how to do all those things before they can get a car. And that is the same when you think about the universe and God. Why would God bless you with all these big grand things that you want, or these desires, when you are still trying to learn how to crawl, how to walk, how to run, how to ride a bike? So you're not going to get that car until you can learn how to do all those other things and appreciate those things. And it's really hard to appreciate what you have when you're so worried about what the next person has. And I really think that's a big issue with social media, when you see everything that everyone is posting about what they have and what they're doing next and all these other things. And it's really easy to get into that negative scarcity mindset and not be grateful for what you have. And I think people also tend to forget the fact that social media is literally it's a filter of what people choose to share. A lot of times people aren't sharing their failures. They're not sharing how much they've cried. Sometimes they're not sharing breakups. And if they do share it, it's a year later. You don't really know. All you know is what you see. And that is not always reality. And I think we just simply forget that it's a highlight reel. It's like this perfectly curated life that we don't know what's going on with them behind closed doors. And I mean, it's unfortunate, like, you know, if you just think about recent things that are happening, how the Miss Universe, and I've seen a lot of people talk about her situation and everything, how, you know, the unfortunate things happen, but when you look on her Instagram, people would have thought that she had, like, people want that type of life, but you don't know what people are going through on the inside. And that's why it's really important for you to focus on yourself and focus within. And lastly, for me personally, another reason why I think you should not compare yourself to others is because, like the apples and oranges situation, my passions may not be their passions. And the things that I was put on this earth to do, and just the things that inside me that I want to, you know, accomplish and that just gets me going, may not be what gets them going or what they want to do. And I can see someone like, how, like, a good example is like, so I like makeup, but I don't necessarily want to really do much makeup. But it would be easy for me to fall victim of seeing a popular makeup artist on social media and how that is her dream. She's living, that's what she wants to do, and she's worked hard for that. So it's like, I see her doing that and I'm like, oh man, I want to be successful like her, or I want to be flown out on brand trips, makeup brand trips and whatnot. So let me try to do that. And it's like you try to follow the steps to how it seems that they've gotten that life that they have, but it's not even your passion. Are you really living your life to the fullest if you're not living out your own passions? I'm just saying, that's something to think about. I don't think that I personally have had to deal with many people's passions, I guess, wanting to do other people's passions, but it is one thing when you see someone that is like really living their life and doing things that they are passionate about. It's just some sort of like aura, some sort of energy that you get when you see that. But unless you know your passions and you're doing them and you're living them out as well, it's kind of hard to appreciate that. I'm too busy watching this girl live out her passions and be mad that my life doesn't look like hers instead of focusing on my own passions. And that, I mean, guys, I think I can really, I don't know how long this video is at this point, but I can sit here all day and tell you guys reasons why you shouldn't compare yourself to others. I will say it is kind of not too bad to have a little bit of comparison in terms of, you know, if it's in a realistic and positive way, like someone you do look up to. But otherwise, I'm not. And like I said, I've never been a really competitive person, and I try not to compare. Even though I'm not competitive, I do fall victim to comparing myself sometimes. I'm not perfect, I'm human, but I just really want people to go into 2022 with, you know, making an effort to not compare yourself as much, and think about the reasons why you compare yourself. Out of the 4 or 5 that I've named, are there any of those reasons why you compare yourself to others? And like really dig deep and try to get to the nitty-gritty of what's going on in your life. And I just want to say, like, coming from a beauty business owner or like a salon suite owner perspective or an entrepreneur perspective, comparing yourself is doing nothing but delaying and blocking your blessings. And I think that was one of the real reasons why I wanted to post this video. Okay, so comparison is a problem. What's the remedy to fix it? The first thing that I found that helped me when it came to comparing myself to others is having a you versus you mindset. Again, I've already told you guys I'm not the most competitive person in the world, but When I think that's part of the reason why I'm not as competitive is because I try to have a me versus me mindset. I am living my own life. I am on my own path. I have my own journey, and it literally cannot be compared to anyone else's. The only person that I compare myself to these days is the older version of myself. And I think, again, that also comes with doing a lot of reflecting on self. That's it. I can only compare myself to the older version of who I used to be to see what I need to improve on, what habits I need to let go of. That's the only time I really find myself being competitive. And even if I want to put a little hair spin on this, say I want to compare how long it took me to do a beaded row or traditional sew-in last month versus this month. That's all I'm trying to do. All I'm trying to do is improve and compare my own talents, my own workflow, my own dollars. Like, I'm trying to secure the bag. Was the bag bigger this month than it was last month? Like, that's the only thing I'm trying to compare. I do remember, I don't remember if it was Les Brown or someone else that I was listening to, but they told a story about the horses that race, how they put like the blinders on them, and they put the blinders on them because apparently the horses get scared when they see other horses in their peripheral. And when you think about it, whenever you're using your peripheral to look at other people and like you're not in your zone, focus on what you're doing, you're looking at the other horses in the race, you can tend to get scared, it cripples you, and literally everything we talked about before on why people tend to compare themselves. So put those blinders on, stay in your own lane, and have a you versus you mindset. That is a big thing that has helped me whenever I did find myself having issues with comparison. Eliminating people that you see, eliminating things that you digest online or people that you hang out with and that you allow in your space, those people that make you feel like less than or smaller than, that make you feel inadequate and make you feel like you aren't where you should be in your journey, you need to let those people go. It's probably way easier to unfollow them on social media than it is to distance yourself from them in real life. You got to kind of be real with yourself, and sometimes you have to have uncomfortable talks, or sometimes you have to just let people know politely, like, hey, I'm just focusing on myself right now. I will link up with you whenever I can, something like that. I will say it is nice to follow a handful of people that are a little bit further along in their journey than you are, because it does give you a little bit of inspiration. But you can, sometimes there's too much of a good thing. Like, I'm always telling my clients, life is all about balance, and the same comes to motivating yourself, having inspiration, and then having too much to where you start feeling like you're not enough. I also think that having friends that are on similar fields or levels as you are is helpful and beneficial when it comes to having a you versus you mindset, because it's like you guys are on the same team, and it gives you a chance to create a bond with someone that can still help motivate you, and you guys can push each other to the next level without having to feel any lack or that you're missing out on anything. And again, like I said, you got to evaluate your circle and see what adjustments you need to make. The second thing that has helped me when it comes to comparison and essentially only comparing myself to myself is setting my own standards and creating a life that I want to live, and not living by anyone else's standards or how I see them live on social media or the outside, whatever they portray. For me, that looked like setting personal goals, creating a vision board, and outlining what I want my life to look like in 5 years, what I want my life to look like in 10 years, and how I'm going to get there. Oftentimes as well, instead of fixating on what I see other people doing, I do work on my own sort of thing. Some people They like to call it, I think it's stats or sats or whatever. Basically, visualizing yourself as the person you want to be and visualize yourself living the life that you want to live. Essentially, creating a vision board. I don't want to watch someone else's life from the outside looking in. Instead, I want to watch myself and visualize myself living the life that I want. And it's easier for me to be more hopeful and more motivated when I picture myself showing up as that person and living that life versus seeing someone else doing it. Because again, like, comparison is literally the thief. It robs you of everything. And so instead of comparing yourself to someone's current situation or whatever they're doing, I'm trying to picture myself wherever I want to be. When you're practicing sats, I think it's sats. It might be stats. I don't know, but I'll put it in the description box. But basically, you kind of close your eyes and you play over a scene in your head. Like, for me, I want to be a homeowner. So I'm playing this scene over in my head of me walking around viewing this house that I love. Then next thing you know, I'm putting in my offer. I'm signing, on the dotted line, getting my keys. You can really think of anything as specific or as general as you want it to be, but really put yourself in that place. Like, what am I wearing? What do I smell like? What car am I driving? Who do I have with me? Who's around me? What things do I see? Like, really put yourself into the situation and get those emotions going. What does it feel like? You really want to focus on yourself and those dreams. And I don't want to say fixate on that, because you still want to be in the present, but the more you think about things, the more you visualize those goals, the more tendency you have to work towards them instead of looking at other people and being sad about it. The third thing that has helped me when it comes to comparison and comparing myself to others is being realistic, acknowledging the fact that everyone is human, including myself. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. And that has kind of helped me remove that filter when I am on social media. Not saying that I wish bad on other people or anything like that, but I don't look at social media the same anymore. I look at social media and I'm like, oh, that's cute, or oh, that seems fun. But at the end of the day, I know realistically that life is not just easy peasy. Everyone has struggles. Everyone has things that they're dealing with. So I guess I took off the rose covered glasses or whatever it's called. And I know that person that's having, this trip or going on this shopping spree, I know for a fact they have other issues. I'm glad that they are to the point where they can get their Gucci bags and all these other things or buy their house, but they have issues just like everyone else. And you have issues just like everyone else. So you don't have to feel bad for the things that you don't have or the struggles that you do have over what you see other people and their situation looking like. Everyone is here on this earth having their own experience, and everyone here has self-worth. Like I said, we are all, I don't want to say we're all the same, but we all honestly have similar situations, whether they're on one end of the spectrum or the other. I do feel like when you find yourself comparing yourself to other people, it affects your self-worth. But when you have a more realistic mindset, you kind of understand that we are all in this together, kind of. We're all going through things, and just because that person is where she is and I'm over here where I am, that doesn't mean that she's any better than me. That doesn't mean that I'm any less than her. We all have self-worth, and we are all worth something. So that basically means that you should be kind to yourself. There's no reason to judge yourself to someone else, because we're all here. No one is better, no one is worse. And it's literally, like I said, it's like you're trying to compare apples to oranges, because we are all here for different reasons. It's almost like, I don't want to say equal but opposite, but it's like we're equal but different. We all have our strengths. We all have our weaknesses. We all have good times and bad times. So next, with being realistic, comes what my fourth thing that I use, or the little tool in my toolbox to help me with comparison, and that's giving myself grace. I tell every single client of mine that sits in my chair to give themselves grace. They come to get their hair done and they're like, I can't curl my hair as good as you, or I can't get my hair this straight when I blow dry. And I tell them that they have to give themselves grace. You can't compare your skill to mine, because I do this for a living. I do it day in and day out. I literally invest money in my education so I can do this as good as I can. But also, it's really freaking hard to do your own hair versus do someone else's hair. So I applaud you for even trying to do your hair. And that's kind of an example, and that's what you need to apply to your life. Life is not a race. Give yourself grace. There is no reason for my client to feel like they need to do hair the way I do hair by tomorrow or by the time they leave out of my chair. I do tutorials, with little mini tutorials with my clients, and I tell them, take your time, practice, and understand that you're not always going to get it the first go around. And that is how it is with comparison as well. You don't know how long it took that person to buy that building for her salon. I don't know how long she's been doing hair. I don't know how many hours she's put in. I don't know how much money she's put into her education. I can't compare myself to that. So be realistic with yourself. Give yourself grace. And just know that you are worthy and you are capable of anything that you want to do, even if it is what the person next to you wants to do. But just know that you have to do it on your own time. Know that everything is a process, but you will get there when you're supposed to get there. And the last tip to help deal with comparison is counting your blessings. I know we talked about having a scarcity mindset. We talked about, not feeling abundance, but coming from a place of lack because you see what everyone else has. Be thankful for the things that you have in the present and at this current time. And also be thankful for others. Clap for others. Rejoice for others. Instead of comparing yourself and being jealous or envious, be thankful for them. Be happy for them. Because what that means is God is in your neighborhood. I don't know. I did not come up with that one. But I think I was reading a book or listening to something, and I thought that was really nice, because I do feel like there is a lot of comparison robbing a lot of people of joy. And I do think that, I have either seen people in other situations or maybe in my personal life, people feel jealous and then they don't want to clap for others. Like, I don't want to congratulate her for buying a house or for, launching her brand because it hasn't happened for me yet. But when you clap for others and when you rejoice with others and celebrate with them, you're putting out that positive energy and you're gonna get it back eventually. And like I said, it's a sign that God is in your neighborhood. We see the memes all the time that say, God, I've seen what you've done for others. Can you please do that for me? And it's like, be thankful. Be thankful for them and their journey and the success that they have, because God is right around the corner, ready to bless you when the time is right. I do not know how long this video is at this point, but I think I've talked your ear off enough. I hope that this helps you guys when it comes to dealing with comparison, whether you think you deal with it or not. I guarantee you may deal with it to some extent, and this is just your reminder to kind of get those thoughts in check and really self-reflect, because at the end of the day, I want us all to succeed, and you can't succeed you can't truly succeed without having those hard conversations with yourself and really understanding why you do some of the things that you do, where these feelings are coming from, why is it happening, and what do I need to do to fix it. So like I said, in the comments, please tell me why you think that you may find yourself comparing yourself to other people. And if I didn't list what, coping mechanisms or tools in your toolbox that you use to deal with comparison and, issues like that, please put that in the comments, because if you have more to add to this, it could help someone else and it could also help me. So I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Which I'm pretty sure the next video where I'm sitting down with you guys getting kind of like one-on-one time, we will be talking about confidence and how to build confidence, because I do think that's a key part of not comparing yourself so much. Because I have faith in myself. I believe in me, so I don't need to compare myself to anyone. So yeah, I'll see y'all in the next video. And again, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell. I also don't know if you've noticed, but I've hit 1,000 subscribers, and I just want to thank all of you guys so much for helping me reach my goal even before my date. Like, I thought that I was going to probably hit it around March, and we hit it just about a month or so earlier. So I thank you for that, and I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.